Good morning. My name is Zbigniew Pisarski. I'm chairman of Pulaski Foundation, co-organizer together with Potomac Foundation of the Hegemon Baltic campaign war game that took place in the last week here in Warsaw at the National Stadium, which was hosting last year the NATO summit. This is for the first time when we are organizing in Poland this type of computer-assisted wargaming simulation, and we believe that this is just the beginning and that Poland will be hosting more of those kind of exercises. But first of all, I would like to acknowledge the presence of two great guests, friends of Poland and strong voices in NATO, General Breedlove, who was secure of NATO till just a couple of months ago, and was one of the players during the game and contributed with his wisdom immensely to the proceedings during the game. And second of our guests is General Tennant from ARRC, NATO, in Polish it is Szpica. So we are very happy to have him as well with us today. I would like to yield the floor to General Breedlove. If you could share some of your thoughts and views about the wargaming we just concluded.
So thank you, and thanks for having me here. And as I said to you and the teams earlier, thank you for putting on this exercise. I think we got some excellent insights that now both civilian and military in Poland can use to think through their futures. And I think that's the most important thing to say. We had an exercise, a war game, that was not designed to give us specific conclusions, but gave us a framework from which to think about the needs as it relates to our forces, our readiness, our equipment, etc., and how we're prepared for any eventuality in this part of the world. And what I saw was a very mature series of conversations that got to very tough issues that were provided by the war game, and that's the way it's supposed to be. War games are not played to win, they're played to learn. And I think we did some great learning here. And I think that will help shape future thought by the great leaders of this nation.
Thank you, General. And I would like to use this opportunity also to ask similar question to General Tennant. How useful these kind of tools are from the perspective of NATO ARRC?
They're enormously useful. So the headquarters of which I'm a component is currently on standby to NATO as the land component headquarters for the NATO response force. It's a role we take extremely seriously and could, in theory, be deployed anywhere that the North Atlantic Council needs to deploy it. But the opportunity for us to start dealing with, as close as possible to real-world contingencies through the medium of a computer simulation is an incredibly valuable thing for us to do, and we are always going to take any opportunity to work with either your foundation or with the Potomac Foundation to try and learn these lessons without ever having to learn them the expensive way.
Thank you, General. I would like to underline also that conclusions from the wargaming that we'll be working on to gather, they will be submitted to the Polish authorities, the Ministry of Defense, also as a part of the Strategic Defense Review. And this game was also a part, symbolically, but a part of preparation on the road to Warsaw Security Forum that will take place for the fourth time in November this year. So here it's from our perspective, and if you have questions, this is the right time.
I think we will gather 3-4 questions at once, so General Breedlove can answer them.
Because General Breedlove will be heading soon to the airport, so we have a little time. So please,
who have questions?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Santiago de la PC with This is a Great Insight. I just want to know how it compares to other war games. I know this is groundbreaking because it's the first time it takes place in Poland, but Rand Corp did a war game in the beginning of 2016, and the results were that Russian tanks were able to be in both Tallinn and Riga in less than 60 hours. And I wanted to know that with the results of this war game, did you take into account the 4,000 troop deployment that was decided here in July? How is it different? And did it make that much a difference if you actually took that into account?
Any other questions?
Hello, my name is Sergey Pelesa. I'm from Belsat TV. It's Belarusian independent television. I would like to ask you about the role of Belarus, because my country is a key region in this game, and how it looks like. Do you recognize Belarus as a separate subject of in the security game in real life? I mean, or just a satellite of Russia, which doesn't make its own decisions? Thank you.
Any last questions? Okay, please, General.
Do you want to attack anything first?
You can go first.
So I'll just take those two in order. I'm very familiar with the RAND games. Dave Ochmonik, the guy who put on those conversations, is a brilliant man, and I respect his work and him personally immensely. I've worked with him in the past. Every war game starts with a different set of starting circumstances, etc. This particular game had a different set of starting circumstances, and the forces that were assigned for reasons of how they are applied in NATO right now. And so part of understanding the outcome of any war game is understanding the circumstances in which they started. And so we started from a different place than Dave's work. Again, what I said to the gathered crowd today is that these kinds of exercises in war games are not about drawing specific conclusions. What they are about is taking things that we learn. The game is designed to give us different problems to force us to think about how to handle those problems, not to drive us to specific conclusions about any specific force or piece of equipment, but to say you have this problem and how will you address it as a nation and as an alliance. And so I think that this war game was particularly well designed by the two teams that put it on to give the assembled group of leaders problems to think about, and then to step back from what they learned, apply what they learned to the issues that the nation of Poland and the NATO alliance are facing and helping them to make decisions. So I said more than once during this game, we don't draw absolute, concrete, specific conclusions and recommendations. We find frameworks and the way to address problems that were presented to help us to understand how to form a future. And to the question about Belarus, we had a magnificent contributor here to talk with us about Belarus and how it would be affected or be a part of this. I must tell you that I've been in Europe since the early 1980s, longer than some of you have been alive. And every time I come, I learn something new. And I learned an awful lot about Belarus during this war game. So I would just offer to you that this issue and this question was well discussed.
Thank you, General.
I could add only to that what General said about that we don't give a specific answer. And I would quote Phil Peterson, one of the co-founders of Potomac Foundation and co-authors of Hegemon, that the idea of the game is to leave participants with a question. So they ask themselves questions: what I would do, how I would do it, how I would respond to those certain challenges that we faced during the simulation and exercise. So we are absolutely on the same side. General Tennant.
So I won't speak to the Belarusian question because I don't think that was directed at me, but in terms of as one of the 9 high readiness force headquarters for NATO, the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps is interested in the learning experience and the establishment of the right questions, but we shouldn't lose sight, I don't think, of the fact that a realistic war game or a realistic simulation has just as much chance of teaching us how to de-escalate as anything else, and it allows us to visualize ways to avoid conflict, to avoid creating the conditions for things to get worse. So I think that was a really important component of the last few days here. It certainly has been a really important component of everything that we've done with the Potomac Foundation before, and will continue to be so.
Thank you, General.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, General Breedlove has to go to the airport, so this is the time for us to conclude. So thank you very much for coming, and if you will have some other questions to our second guest or me, you can do it outside of the conference. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.